Another First Nation has conducted a radar search of the grounds at a former residential school. Blanket Cree Nation in Saskatchewan says it has found more than 2,000 anomalies, but more work is necessary to determine how many of them are unmarked graves. Members of the First Nation were forced to attend the Labret Indian Industrial School. It first opened in 1884 and didn't close its doors until 1998, making it one of the last residential schools to shut down in Canada. Sheldon Poitras is the project leader with the Blanket Cree Nation. He also attended that residential school, and he joins me now. So Sheldon, I wonder if you can walk us through what you've found so far.
So far, on the areas of interest or anomalies or targets or however you want to identify with that, we have over 2,000 areas of interest right now in the initial phase of our search. So that means all the land encircling the school site, where you know the school to have been built. All the flat land around there is what we've currently searched so far.
Okay, so 2,000 anomalies. That doesn't necessarily mean these are human remains. These could be rocks. These could be clumps of things, because there's a lot of glacial activity there that could compromise, not compromise, but make it more difficult to discern exactly what is there, correct? Am I right in my understanding of that?
That is absolutely correct. When we started this journey of ground penetrating radar, our partners, Axiom, were very upfront about the type of soil conditions that the residential school site was on, and that detection would be challenging. They let us know that GPR has limitations. They can tell you it analyzes ground disturbances, shifts in soil and things of that nature. So when we announced over 2,000 anomalies or areas of interest, that doesn't necessarily mean over 2,000 unmarked graves. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that there are areas of interest that the technology we've employed says is worth investigating. So we don't know at this point what it is that we found for certain.
Okay, but it is pretty much a near certainty that there are human remains there in some capacity, because I know there was the jawbone of a child that was found, and it dates back 125 years. And as I understand it, findings like this are no surprise to your community, right? So what does it mean to have some evidence that at least matches the stories that your community has known about for some time?
Well, it means quite a bit. The jawbone was located in one of the areas of interest for certain. So Axiom has collected that data from that specific area and is going to compare that data against all the other areas that were discovered. We're in kind of a process of elimination mode right now, right? Mm-hmm. We want to focus a lesser amount of areas of interest, because we know that it's probably going to be a stone or a piece of wood or a clump of gravel under there at this point, but it's over 2,000, right? And we have one confirmation of an unmarked grave for sure. So now moving forward, it motivates us now to continue with that search, to make those assertions now with the new data and things of that nature.
So how do you narrow it down? I mean, what are your next steps here to kind of get some clarity of just the scope of what you've found, or more precision to this? Because 2,000 disturbances is an enormous number. I mean, how do you move forward now? The next steps is try to quantify exactly what may actually be in this area.
So we're in discussions. One strategy that we're looking at employing right now is doing core sampling. We're gonna drill down on a minute scale. If you're familiar with industry, it's taking a drilled core sample, pulling it up, and then analyzing that earth for DNA. That's the next approach. We're talking with our partners now to employ once it warms up, and we can get the equipment out here and have a look.
And so what will you do if you determine there are a significant number of human remains at this particular site? What will you do if these are in fact graves?
Well, that is some direction that we're going to need from our elders, our knowledge keepers, and our community at large. We were given some direction at the beginning of the project. They directed us, yes, search, find out what's underneath the ground, but we're also told not to disturb. So bringing up the core samples is probably at this point in time the best thing that we can do to stay inside that direction given by the elders of the community. Now that was a year and a half ago that direction was given. The announcement was yesterday, so some sentiments might change. We have to have another community engagement. We have to revisit that direction and see where we stand. If the original direction maintains, then up to discovery is what we will do and what we'll attempt. But there's also those sentiments about justice, about accountability. A lot of those words were used yesterday at the press conference. So there's a lot of things behind that that would make the work a little bit more detailed, a little bit more. We would need to do forensic investigation, because if you want justice, if you want accountability, if you want remains to be returned to their home community, that means exhuming, that means investigating forensically. That means doing a lot of steps in order to identify who that is. Will we ever find out for certain each individual who they are and where they came from? I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with DNA analysis and how specific those examinations will go. I know that if we're even to place uh, those folks in a certain region or a certain area, we would need to collect DNA from those regions, from those family groups, and house a database so that when we're ready to do the DNA analysis, we'd have a bank of DNA to compare to, say, okay, this individual came from this region or that individual came from that region. We're not even there yet. This is all just discussion right now at this point, based on the direction that we'll get from our elders, and then getting them to understand that if they want to now pursue justice and accountability, these steps now have to be employed, and get them to understand that.
No, it's a complex and sensitive and delicate task that you have ahead, and I want to wish you luck in it. And look, I know your 4-year-old daughter is sitting in the back seat while we did this interview, so please thank her for being such a good girl while we had this conversation and allowing it to happen. So Sheldon Poitras, good luck with the task ahead, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.